and it nearly went completely pear-shaped for Portsmouth Football Club. I'm so grateful that it didn't. And I think even Pompey fans today wake up every morning and think we're really lucky to have a football club.
Let's talk Pompey. We got the world's biggest Pompey fan here today.
The world's biggest.
Yeah, I'm giving you that.
No. The world. What's his name? John something. Portsmouth.
He's not allowed to go anymore.
Is he not?
Well, he's not allowed to go for the next two.
What happened?
Are we a clean podcast?
No,
or
you
can
can go.
I?
So
Hey,
just tell us who he is first of all, and then tell us why he can't
I will be careful what I say. He's a divisive figure, splits opinion. I'll withhold which side of the opinion myself, and I think probably Brooke falls on as well. Geezer with a massive hat. You've seen him in pictures, tattoos all over. His name is actually John Portsmouth Football Club Westwood. That is like his official name on his all his details. He's actually Portsmouth Football Club's in his name. Nice. So for you to say I'm the world's biggest Pompey fan, I wouldn't quite go to that stretch, I don't think. But yeah, the reason why he's been given a too-much ban, he was given a too-much ban previously for getting his arse out at the Coventry away end in a pre-season friendly. And yeah.
In a pre-season friendly?
Pre-season friendly, I know, yeah.
Oh, he's on a 2-year ban or too-much ban?
That was a too-much ban, and then he did a public wee at Forest Green Rovers away outside the ground and decided to have a slash pre-match, and they wouldn't let him in.
To his credit, and in fairness to him, Forest Green are a sustainable club. He's probably trying to fertilise the ground.
That was probably
that's his excuse.
Does he do it while eating a burger or something?
So he's not universally loved at Portsmouth then, because like from the outside, when you see the media cover him, it's like he's Mr. Portsmouth. He loves the club and all the fans love him, but it's not quite the case. No,
very far from the case. Yeah, very far from the case.
Okay.
There's also, I mean, this is incredibly serious, but there are issues over the Her Game 2 and his opinions on that, and his exclusion of women in football is not good, and he's a little bit kind of football's for geezers, that kind of thing.
Do you know what? He doesn't sound like a football fan or a Portsmouth fan in my eyes, mate. So yeah, we have got the world's biggest
Thanks,
Portsmouth fan here.
Cheers.
No football fan can exclude anyone. So you know
absolutely,
what I mean?
absolutely. It's what
I
we're
don't
all
care
about.
if you've legally paid to get Portsmouth put in your name. Do you know what I mean?
That's it.
There's no space for you in football, my guy. But let's talk about Portsmouth. How has it been a Portsmouth fan nowadays? I mean, me and Quaker are a little bit older than you, of course. My real memories of Portsmouth, and I'm assuming this is probably the same for most like people around our age group, is I think back to the Harry Redknapp dream teams, and I think of your Lasana Diarras, your Peter Crouches, your Jermaine Defoe's,
Nico Cranshaw.
Cranshaws. I mean, if it's a Harry Redknapp squad,
Nico's in there, isn't he? Of course he is.
Who was it? Pedro Mendes as well. I remember him scoring an absolute wallop of a volley.
Yeah, that was against Manchester City. Would you believe?
Do you know what? One of the most memorable kits as well is like. Do you remember when they used to have the like the Beanie Baby heart? It was their sponsor as well. Was it? TY.
Yeah.
What a sick kit that is. But yeah, let's talk Portsmouth nowadays. How is it being a Portsmouth fan now? Obviously, you're languishing in League One.
Yeah, it has been depressing for years. It's not much fun, and you mates of mine who's supporting a Premier League team on the telly week in, week out, and we spoke off camera about, we don't do well on Sky. Well, for you boys, you're on Sky most weekends, so it's kind of one of those. I think that's a bit of a difference. You say, how are things being a Pompey fan? A world away from you two, definitely. And yeah, we're still going to places like as soon as we've finished with this, I need to book a Morecambe ticket, for example. Like, you need to get a ticket for the ground at Morecambe.
Where the hell is Morecambe?
Exactly. Well, no, that's the one you say about Accrington Stanley. Who are they? And that's a couple of weeks later, so there's that one as well. Fleetwood as well. You go to places, and then Forest Green, we were just talking about with.
Do you know what though? If I had to point to a map and say where is Morecambe, I would have no idea. I'd just pick somewhere random up north.
Yeah. That's what every other away day feels like as a Pompey fan at the minute is, just throw your dart and whatever it lands on, head there.
On that Sky thing though, do you think that affects the players? Because obviously, like you say, you're not playing on Sky or TV week in, week out. We say Sky, BT Sports as well. Or you can listen to the games on TalkSport. I have to say that.
Upstairs.
Upstairs. But do you think that affects the players when the cameras are there? You know, maybe there's going to be more fans there because it's on TV. Yeah. Do you reckon that gets in the players' minds?
Yeah, massively. Normally, we are confined to something called iFollow, which is the EFL kind of League 1 and 2. And if you go to somewhere like Accrington, you have one camera right up on the gantry. It's a one-camera operation, whereas Sky, 22, 23 cameras, super slow-mo, VAR, all that kind of thing. Yeah, it's a bit of a main event if we're on Sky, because sometimes we are on main event. We lost 3-0 to Charlton on last Monday night lost at the Valley against Charlton, which is not stone's throw from here, where we were on Sky. Whether it played an awful lot of a part in it. I know it's not Pompey, but Ipswich Town have a terrible record on Sky. We have a terrible record on Sky. There's got to be something in it. It's a great question. I'd love to know the stat to say, what's said in the dressing room beforehand. Oh, we're on Sky. Go out there and put on a performance, and then actually you get a complete subversion of that. You get the exact opposite. Sky's a big factor. We want to avoid Sky if we can, but they've already rescheduled our Derby game at home, and then Wickham away is also on Sky. All before Christmas, so they got to get their football in when the World Cup's on, haven't they? So they choose Pompey. Cheers, boys. Thanks for that.
Well, it sounds like you get a really full insight into the weird and wonderful grounds around the UK. A lot of grounds.
Sometimes a bit too full of an insight. Yeah.
Well, me and Quaker again. Outside the Premier League, I haven't been to many stadiums. If I'm honest with you, where's your favourite away day?
I saw this on what you sent me through a couple of days ago. We still get some cool grounds. We've been to Stadium of Light, Sunderland. I know they're Championship now, but last couple of seasons that's been great fun. Went to Hillsborough, first game of the season, Sheffield Wednesday. I mean, you still get and even the Valley. I know there's not many people there that are going to watch it week in, week out at the minute, but
the Valley's a great ground. It's a really good ground. It's a good area as well.
Yeah.
I went to watch Swansea Charlton in pre-season, and it's just like one of those old school grounds. It's just like
nice.
Feels proper, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Go through the turnstiles, and it's a nice ground. It's a nice day.
Portman Road, Ipswich.
Portman Road's a great ground.
There's some great grounds in League One at the minute. If I was going to choose a favourite, Hillsborough. So loud, ridiculously loud. Portman Road was built up to be a really loud place. Whether people blamed it on the acoustics, but I think it was mainly the Pompey boys making all the noise everywhere we go. The chant goes. That wasn't it was a loud place, but in its moments, Hillsborough was relentlessly noisy, really, really impressive, and it's massive as well. It's such and you'd say about old grounds. I mean, that's the pinnacle, isn't it? It's such a great place to watch football.
It's crazy. There's such a there's so many big teams in League One at the moment. It's crazy, especially obviously last season when Sunderland were in the league. It was mental seeing the top 6 teams in League One. It's so competitive down in the football pyramid, and it must be tough for you as a Portsmouth fan being stuck down there after the heights that you've had, maybe a bit before your time. But I
was there for the FA Cup final when Sol Campbell went up to lift the FA Cup.
You there? I was there. Isn't that so crazy that that's the last time an English manager has won a major trophy in this country? It's mental. And it was a different age when Portsmouth was that successful. I've just got it here. I remember Portsmouth versus AC Milan at Fratton Park, and Ronaldinho scored the goal, and I was it's like I'm looking at the goal scorers in this game. It's like Eunice Kabul and Kanu scored for Pompey, and then Ronaldinho and Filippo Inzaghi scored for AC Milan. It's like, what world were we living in?
And you look back and you think, it's so mental.
That is crazy.
Yeah. I mean, and even Ronaldinho's comments after the game. I mean, I think he's mentioned how great that atmosphere was that night. And it's a European night under the lights at Fratton Park. It's going to be pretty noisy, especially when AC Milan are in town. But that was a standout night. We also had an away trip to Guimarães that season in Portugal.
Nice.
That was a couple of games before the AC Milan one. So we've had in recent memory, we've still got some European nights that we can cling on to. And every would you believe it is over a decade since we were in the Championship now.
It's crazy.
Much.
That's mental.
It's pretty much a decade since we were playing Championship.
From your point of view, though, this is a club that almost went out of existence. I
remember the morning.
There's a lot of mourning. There's fans crying because they thought their club was not gonna be around anymore. So is there an element of gratefulness from Portsmouth fans just to be able to watch their team play football? We've seen teams go out of existence, but Bury are an example of that. And you were very, very close to that. So is there maybe within the older fans and within yourself as well, a sense of gratefulness that you have got footage to watch every Saturday?
Massively, yeah. I mean, and you can moan about a misplaced past all you like, but you think, well, it's a bit of a cliche, but I think it's quite an effective one. We were minutes from non-existence. We were minutes from not being a football club anymore. And you mentioned Bury there. I mean, Derby came close to it not too long ago, didn't they? And they're down in League One with us at the minute. So, we're very grateful. It was a group called the Portsmouth Supporters Trust. So the fans owned the club for a little while, and I know we mentioned people know the story. It was tough. It was really tough, and when the toilets weren't working, and you just had to put up with it because the club's got no money, and when players aren't being paid and managers' wages, and people are having to really muck in, and it was a really, really torrid time. Sort of. I mean, even just literally from when we won the World Cup, Jesus Christ, when we won the FA Cup 2008, from that moment on, it's just a spiral and a spiral. And there's some great documentaries out there, and I won't, bore you with the detail, but that kind of 2012-13 kind of time was really tough, and it nearly went completely pear-shaped for Portsmouth Football Club. I'm so grateful that it didn't, and I think even Pompey fans today wake up every morning and think we're really lucky to have a football club, and it's all through, we mentioned barons earlier on in Starbucks, didn't we? But it's all through these people that supposedly have a lot of money, invest it in a football club, and actually they're not exactly who you think they are.
Yeah.
And the Guy de Mac story and Peter's story involved in the football club, and these names, and to the extent that Harry Redknapp was not involved, but he was there for when the downfall was happening initially, and then jumping ship, and then manager after manager, and you're thinking Michael Appleton, Guy Whittingham, Andy Orford, there's these Steve Cottrell, there's so many names that we went through like prime ministers. Honestly, it was ridiculous how many we had in such a short space of time. We are starting to steady the ship now, which is good news. With the man himself, Danny Cowley, who we've already spoken about, and I know you boys have some. It'd be great the links that you boys have to this man is crazy.
So it's the most obscure link to Danny Cowley. So Danny Cowley is one of like the footballing success stories. Now, if anyone doesn't know me and Kwaku personally, we come from Essex. Danny Cowley was a PE teacher at literally my rival school. So I used to play against teams managed by Danny Cowley when I was in school, and I know Kwaku did the same. I used to play Sunday League in Rayleigh, where he used to be a PE teacher, and half of my team were managed by him. So I never met him directly, but it was kind of it's one of the most obscure things where I knew at the time he was obviously managing Concord Rangers on the side. But it's one of the most obscure things that someone that used to line up against 15 years ago, I'm talking 15 years ago, I'm that old, people, like, is now managing in League One. It's kind of surreal.
Yeah, he's a manager that... It's interesting because there's a few managers that are down in the EFL that people just recognise their names. It's quite difficult to make your name as a young English manager in the EFL, but because of what he did at Lincoln and it didn't go that well for him at Huddersfield, but it was a big move at the time.
Yeah.
And now he's at Portsmouth, which is a huge club in the EFL. He's a manager that people will remember quite fondly in terms of he's a great communicator. We've talked about how good he is at talking to people. We've talked about how maybe innovative he is in comparison to previous managers that you've had at Portsmouth. And he does a really good job of ingratiating himself with the clubs that he goes to. Him and his brother do it together, which I think is quite a unique thing as well. The fact that they are co-managers, essentially. Obviously, it's Danny's name above the building, but it's both of them, Danny and Nicky, that do it together. And hopefully, I'm hoping, I always keep an eye on what's going on in lower league football, and I'm hoping that he does a good job at Portsmouth and gets them promoted, because he's somebody that we've all kind of followed his journey quite closely, and I'd love him to succeed at the highest level. I think he will. He is the best manager we've had since a man you spent a bit of time with recently, Harry Redknapp. He honestly is the best that we've had since then, which says a lot, I think. When you say that he's the best manager since a Premier League manager, you go, wow, that's quite something special. And for you to be involved in football teams that were managed by the opposition with him involved is crazy for me to say that in front of you here. But yeah, communication is so good from him. Gets the fans on side, and he's done that. I mean, I spoke to him on my channel not too long ago, and I think that's a massive kind of getting the support base. And he always talks about it being a city effort. It's not just the team, it's not the 11 players, it's not the 18 that are involved in the matchday squad. It's not about the manager, it's about the supporters and the connection and the way that the city can be behind the football club, because Portsmouth's a very special place. And I kind of come on as a Pompey fan and wax lyrical, was the most Pompey fan, whatever you said earlier on, but it's like a Sunderland and a Newcastle, and it's a West Ham to an extent, where it is a place and a place in the country that is so closely rooted to its football club and its supporters, and the success of the city is reflected in the success of the football club and vice versa. So it's really, really important that the football club's performing well. I'm in agreement with you. I hope that Danny does incredibly well. I'm sure he will. He's probably got this season until people at Pompey start going, right, where's the direction heading here? Because there was the famous always got 3 transfer windows. The third one's now passed. That was the summer. So he's been in charge since March 2021 now. So he's kicking on a little bit in his management, but we're getting there. Hopefully he does so well.
Yeah, I think from our unique link that me and Craig have got with him, we want to see him do well. It's a shame.
Keep your eye on him.
Yeah,
we want to get him on the podcast as well.
So Danny, come speak to us, mate. And obviously you referenced speaking to him on your channel. Let everyone know where they can find you.
So 4-0 written all over it, as you introduced me at the start. It's following the fortunes of Pompey up and down the country. If you want to come and have a look at that, it's on YouTube. And is this wrap up time now? Will we?
What we got to say?
I just want to say that I love this. I think it's
Do
great.
you really?
Yeah, I do. And I think you've had some fantastic guests on here, and I'm privileged to be on the list of guests. Obviously, it's a little bit more Z-list Pompey celebrity.
No.
But it's honestly, so you look at some of the names that you've had on the pod. It's impressive. And it's great. It's been great to spend some time with you guys, and thanks for
coming on, mate.
Yeah, it's really kind of you, mate. Yeah, we alluded to it at the start. We're trying to be more consistent with this now.
Consistency is key.
Consistency is key. But I think appreciate the kind words. You're not a Pompey Z-lister. You're more than welcome to come on the podcast again, and when Pompey get promoted, we'll have you back on. You can talk to us.
I like the use of when, not if. There.
Yeah, when 100%. When Danny Cowley takes you to greatness.
That's it. Come on, Danny.